Hi, it's David at Art of David Smith. So, in my second video today, I wanted to go back to the realistic drawings we're doing, how to draw a face, how to draw an eye. So, one of the ones I've been asked to cover is how to draw a mouth. So, firstly, mouths do not look like this. We've all put them into our drawings like that in the past, but unless your lips are made of rubber, this is not how they look. When you're drawing them, it's a bit of a different technique what we need to look at. Now, obviously, you've still going to need an outline to work to, but if we were to do very lightly at first, the classic shape of the lips, obviously the gap in between the lips. Now, very lightly, when you're drawing, say your face or anything like that, whether it's a self-portrait or whether it's a model that you're drawing, by all means put the lips into the space they're going to occupy initially. Okay, but again, you need to do this really light, because if you don't, you're not going to get the right effect come the final part of the drawing. So again, we put these in very lightly at this stage, because we're going to knock these out. Essentially, we're going to rub these back out once we've started fleshing out the actual lips themselves. Now, as I mentioned in the how to draw a face video and how to shade a face, starting from the centre, which will have a dark firm line, because as the lips are brought together, or even if the lips are slightly open, you're still going to have the darkest area in there. So by putting that in first, we then will work from this line out. And we're going to push the lines up. Obviously everybody's lips are slightly different, so following these tips, use them to shade in the lips that you are drawing. But again, we've all got these lines on our lips, but they all start from here and move up through, and as we go out towards the edges, use them to form the shape of the mouth, the shape of the lips. Again, it all starts from that centre and then moves up as we come around the other side. Essentially, I'm going to do the same. I'm just putting these in lightly so I know where they are. Then I'm going to start bringing them up. So all the outside of the lips are ever going to be is a guide as to where the outside of the lips are. We are then going to shade from that to soften those lips right out. So we're just kind of putting those lines roughly in for the moment. Again, when we drop down onto the bottom lip, we're going to do the same. And even if the lips you feel are smoother than this, just by putting a few of these in, you'll really give the lips definition, start making them feel like a real pair of lips. Some of these will go virtually down to the bottom. Some of the ones at the bottom are going to start to come up as well. If you put these in first, this is where we're wanting them to go. We can then move on to like the next stage. So we're at this point at the moment. What we're then going to do is from these top edges, very lightly, I'm going to start bringing down, using this guide, I'm going to start bringing down some of the shade in line to where the edge of these lips are. Once we've done that, we then will knock that line out. So if necessary, if you've got a line there what's strong, get in there with your razor once you know where the edge is and knock that out. So then what we're going to do is, with our blending tool, I'm going to drag those lines down. Now what tends to happen in this midpoint, this is where we tend to pick up some of the light. Now that might be the light what's bouncing up from the ground, or it may well be the light what's coming down. But what we're going to do is have this area in the middle where the lips are at the palest. And again, when we get to the lips, right on the edge, where is it virtually at its darkest, make sure you kind of leave a light line along here, because again what that's doing is it's picking up those reflections from the ground bouncing back up, and it all adds to that illusion of giving the lips more of a three-dimensional feel. So the darkest point will be literally just above here, and we blend up following these lines. And I could do with my piece of paper at the moment. It's real soft what we're doing, what we're looking for at this point. I will go in and I will make this darker, but you want to build it up slowly. You don't want to go in too heavy-handed at first. So I'm going to swap out slightly darker pencil now, and again, just like I did on this side, I'm going to drag these lines down, following that edge what we've got. And then when we're happy, we've followed that edge, and then I'm going to knock that guideline out with the eraser. Apologise again if you can keep hearing noises from outside, but one of my neighbours is having a lot of building work done at the moment, so it's all sorts of cement mixers and everything else carrying on at the moment, so just bear with me on that one. So I'm darkening the central line up a bit and then knocking it back with the blending tool. And often as well, as the light comes in from one direction or the other, usually going to have one side of the lips at this point which may well just be slightly darker than the other. And it's worth taking your time building these lips up slowly using this method, because these are the details which will make or break your final drawing. Many a time I've seen drawings done and we've had really brilliant work done on the eyes and things like that, and then it's been spoilt when it gets to the nose or the lips area. So they're all equally important and they're all going to help sell the picture at the end of the day. Let's get to the edges. Go a little bit darker. Kind of blend that out and up. Now, when we get to the bottom of the lip, tends to be slightly overhanging, so we can put a slightly darker line in at this point, because this would then be going out over the chin. So we can afford to be a little bit more, a little stronger with our shading at this point. Again, you would soften this out over the chin area as you go. Now I'm just going to knock that back so it's not quite so harsh. And then at this area, again, as we did with here, we have the darker part of the lip. Then as we hit this area, this is going to be the real, I suppose, highlighted area. This is going to pick up a lot of the light coming down from above. But then as we roll over that curve of the lips, it starts to get darker again. So again, at this point, not right down to the bottom, because again, we're going to pick up that light bouncing back up onto the bottom lip. But using this so it looks a bit rough still at the moment, because a lot of this detail is so subtle. You need to really work on your blending tools and softening the lips all over and bringing them all in at the same time. So initially it looks a bit scrappy, but as we get to the end, it should all really start coming together then. I think with hindsight, I'm just going to take a bit of that out of there. Don't want to go too Joker-esque with this lip. So, with the softening tool, and again, if necessary, off to the side, off of your picture, I have some of your lead there where you can quickly rub your blending tool in if you've not got quite enough colour, rather than necessarily going with your pencils all the time. I'm going to dip into this darker area and then use that to drag down in the shape, and always drag into the shape that you want in the lips to form. Okay, when we get down this bottom, so we've assumed we've got all this softened out, and whereas this could be virtually white, this highlight, this one underneath won't be. So what we want to do is soften that out so we can see it's one of the highlights, but it's not in this kind of level of whiteness. So that'll give it a definite feel of that 3D without starting to look strange the other way for being too pale at this point. I'm not going to dwell on this for much longer on camera, but I think you can start to see now where I'm going with this, using these techniques. So transfer those techniques then into the drawing that you're doing. Let's leave the area just underneath the nose as well. Come down to the lips. Using the drawing that you're working on or the model that you've been drawing, use these techniques, and what you'll find is that you have a lot more success in the lip area with your drawings, and obviously just bring these low lights up to a point that you're happy. So I'll just continue tweaking this off a camera so you can at least see what the finished item will look like. But hopefully that'll help with some of your drawings, and at some point, hopefully later today, I will do a video on how to draw the nose as well. But thank you for watching, thank you for subscribing, and keep watching. Thank you very much. Cheers, bye bye.